Hello, welcome to Lily Godzilla. Today we're going to be putting a first-person camera on our Axial SCX24. We already went ahead and we added one of these little ball mount attachments onto our transmitter for our monitor. So now we can just clip that on and we have this so we can drive and see what we're doing. So now we got to attach our camera. Oh, and I used this mount. I just kind of dremeled out the edge to make it fit. I took some video earlier that I'll try to throw in here so people can see that part of it. Take our little sticky peel off the back. I haven't used this particular one before, but it's 3M and they're usually fairly moderately okay-ish. So we'll see how well this holds. I have my screen to test the weight. Not fully expecting this to hold up on its own just yet, but I have a few little tricks if it doesn't. Actually, that holds it really well already. Pretty happy with that. I am going to make it a little sturdier just in case, especially for future wear, pulling this thing on and off. As you can see, it's fairly hard to pull it off sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of I think I'm just going to do the liquid electrical tape. I'm not going to wrap it with regular electrical tape and then that. And I'm just kind of going to coat the edges and all the gaps a little bit underneath where there's still some of the exposed adhesive that stuck over the edge a little bit. And the liquid electrical tape I really like. It's fairly rubbery. It holds really good. The solvent in it so far, it has not reacted to any plastics that I've used it on, unlike crazy glue and other stuff like that does. And the cool part about it is not only is it really strong, but I can usually take it off and not have any damage. So let's get started, get a coat on there. I just like to make sure I get some of the liquid electrical tape on both parts. And it makes one solid piece when it's dry. And it really adds a lot of strength. And yet it's flexible so it don't just break easy. And when you want, you can take it back off. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it will come off, and it usually has not left any damage or reacted to any plastics I've used it on so far. Okay, so now we got our little first-person camera. Take this out. Got the instructions, but actually already had it out of the box. Also, I have several of these I've used in the past. And I actually took it out of the box already. It comes with these extra wires and I already plugged it in. It has multiple settings and I already adjusted it to where I want it, so that's all ready to go. Okay, now I have, these are the tray dividers for like tackle boxes and bead boxes and stuff like that, and I like to cut them up and make little protective cases for the camera. And I actually scavenged some pieces from an old one. So I have like this part here, it has a big notch cut in the front of it. And that will go around the stalk of the camera. I don't know if you can see that very well or not. I'll do some closer up shots in a minute. And what I am going to do is, let's get this off. I already took 2 screws out to get this body off because it has this little hinge point, and then it kind of just like clips in. Okay, because we're going to want this separate to work on it. Alright, so when I bring the camera in close, what I'm going to do is somewhere somewhere around here in the front, I'm going to cut a little notch in our pretty windshield and ruin the look of my lovely truck. And I'm going to fold that notch into it, set this guy on top of it and as far back inside the vehicle as I can. And then I'll start attaching my little plastic bits. And then eventually I will use liquid electrical tape and seal it all. Then I'm going to put a little bit of Velcro on the inside. My batteries I use for the cameras of my other vehicles already have Velcro, and that will just stick right in there and plug into the camera, which the wire for will come out the back of the windshield. It will add a little bit of top weight, but it's okay. It's worth it for me because I have to have an FPV on them. I just love it. It's a whole different thing for me. So I'm going to bring the camera in close and we're going to get started. Now we're gonna make our first cut. This is always the scariest part. It's the real point of no return. And these Lexan bodies are often a pain in the butt to cut, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware of. So we're gonna get started here. Say bye-bye to the last time it looks real pretty and new and normal and to scale. Alright, so we got our first cut through. Now we gotta do our downward cuts. And after that, we're gonna fold that part of the windshield inward. And it's actually gonna be the base that our camera is gonna sit on. We get a nice good crease in it. And then push it back up that little bit, and then that makes our base for our camera. Feed our wire through. There we go. That fits nice now. Haha. So I have my front part I have from a previous camera I'm probably going to use here. Oh yeah, that seems to kind of slide in there pretty nice. I'll have to make a top and a little top plastic part that goes over here, and then a side part here and a side part here. I'm going to coat that all in liquid electrical tape. Then we're going to go onto the inside and get that all waterproofed. Put our Velcro, let's see if I get a shot. Put our Velcro for the battery in here, and this thing's going to be ready to go. Okay, I'm going to try to show everyone how I cut out these little pieces. So right here is our camera lens. This is the plastic front piece and our antenna. And I just take the next piece. I line up about where I'm going to want it. I'll put a mark here. That mark will represent our width. Then I want to go back a little bit onto my roof. So we'll do it right about, stop moving, Lily. Right about there. That'll be our depth. We're going to cut those two out. And I got an old pair of cheap scissors I like to use for this. They're already dull. And I just cut through the plastic tray divider right along my lines. And I get my piece. Now that that's cut, we're gonna make a little mark for our antenna. So do one here, one here, and I set it up about where it's gonna be, and I do one more for the depth. And then I got my marks. And we cut our notch out. I just do 2 quick cuts on the length with the scissors. And I take my X-Acto knife and finish it. I do that by stabbing through, getting it started, and then kind of gently, carefully rocking it back and forth as I put gentle pressure. Until I work my way all the way to the next cut. There we go. Now we do our best to pop it out. There we go. Now we got our notch for our antenna. Alright, in order to mount it, I like to use some liquid electrical tape. I like to use a smaller paintbrush because the one that comes with it's a bit big for this type of work. Goob a little bit on the end, and I start at my first couple edges. So on this one, it's going to be on the bottom. I'm just going to rock around a little bit at first. That's okay. This stuff comes up and will stick fairly quickly. Alright, let's set it down and get it in place. Okay. Now we're just going to let that sit for a few minutes until it tacks up nice and dry, and then we're going to put our top one on. Alright, now we're going to put a little bit of electrical tape on here and here so that we can attach our top. Oh, that's not a little bit, that's a lot. A little bit back here. Here. Give that some time to set up and dry, and once it is, we'll do our sides. Okay, we're going to get our sides cut out, and I like to just line it up and draw my mark. And since it's clear, I can see through it and get a fairly precise line. Take our trusty beater scissors. Always take the the crappy scissors for cutting stuff like this, and I have a good sharp pair of scissors for other jobs. And this way I get to keep having a sharp pair. Alright, so get that half off. Let's see how we fit. Alright, we're way tall up here. Alright, so as you can see, we're a little big, so I'm going to make a couple quick cuts. There we go, that's getting pretty good. And I already have another one cut out ahead of time, so we're going to get these attached. Same process as before, just a little bit of liquid electrical tape, almost like tacking in place, and once it's all holding, I'll go back and do several coats. Okay. Okay, we got them in place. We're gonna let that dry. I'm gonna do a bunch of coats and we're gonna get this finished. So I'll get back to you in a little bit. Alright, we got a few more coats done. Starting to look pretty decent. Doesn't ruin the look of the truck quite as much as I feared it may. I'll still be able to put, I'm gonna cut these out in the future and put a cool light bar in there and stuff, but for the time being, I think this looks pretty cute. So now we got on the inside, it's hard to see, I gotta put a few little things. I'm just gonna use tape on the inside because it doesn't need to be as sturdy as the outside from crashing. So I just put tape over this and then a liquid electrical tape over that. I use regular electrical tape and then liquid electrical tape, and it seals it all in good. I'm gonna put a piece of Velcro here to hold my battery in. Alright, we got our camera on. We put our Velcro inside of here for our battery to hook up in place. We have all our wires to plug in the battery to the camera all bunched up in here. It all closes fine. And we're ready to go. We're going to take this out, give it its first test run with the new camera at night, and I'll probably throw in a little bit of extra day footage. Okay, it looks like the rain's gonna cut our night run a little short. We still had some fun. We're going to have a lot more fun with this guy in the future. A whole lot of videos are going to be coming out. I have a lot of cool first person runs through really tall grass paths. I'm going to make just a weed whacker path, just barely thick enough for this to go through. I think that's going to look really awesome in first person, especially in a night run. There might be like a few frogs and stuff. We got to be careful. I'm obviously not going to hurt anything. And, you know, just get a lot of cool, unique videos coming up in the future. I hope everyone enjoyed this one. I hope no one's not too mad at me for uglying up this truck a little bit. I don't think the camera takes away from the looks too much, and it adds to the enjoyability so much. So, oh, before I go, I just wanted to point out I have my K989, and I actually did the same camera conversion to this one about a year or so ago, and I have so much fun with this K989. I'm probably going to do a video with this thing coming out soon too. So there's going to be a whole lot more RC videos, more bonsai videos coming up, another cooking video coming up, and I'm still working on fishing videos and just having some issues of getting out there and getting the cameras and everything, but hopefully it'll be a fishing video too. So I'm very glad that everybody's watching. I hope that you had as much fun as I had, and there is so much more fun to come in the future. Thank you for watching.